little one and like all that. I think some of them prescription for disaster.
So I got my kid out of school.
While we're waiting, can I ask you why you said that
Keep them
this
in
work for you seems to be coming to an end?
I can't hear.
Can I ask why you said this work for you seems to be winding down or coming?
Well, if I can't finish, what hope is there for anyone else who gets into it? Yeah, you know, there's a point at which I don't want to be explaining myself to God anymore, or explaining stuff to God anymore, right? So there's a point at which I want to get out of talking about it, you know, and also this, there are people that appear to do what I do, which is stand up in front of a group and teach, and then go, wow, that works. That's a career right there, right? And so for me, it's never about that. I have lived many lives in this lifetime. I've been a pizza maker. I was a house cleaner in London. I actually was called a slave by my Arab employers in London, a white slave from South Africa. They loved having a white slave from South Africa. I have been a music journalist. You know, I've done many things, and this is just one of those. It's not a point of arrival. And each journey I've gone through has had a purpose to it. And this has had a purpose to it. And the purpose of this was, I mean, 7 years ago, well, more than 7 years ago, about 1995, somewhere around there, I saw this. In other words, I saw the predicament we were in. And I saw that we were not living in this moment, and why we couldn't enter the moment because of what was going on in the emotional body. And I saw it through the lens of my own discomfort, through my own pain. And I saw it in a way that I realized this was a human condition. And so I asked the question of how I could chart my way back into the moment in a way that I could live with life on life's terms and live enjoyably in that experience, but in a way that I could communicate it to others, because I realized everyone is in the same predicament. Everybody. And so I began that journey, and that set me on a long journey of trying to figure all of this out, right? And that took me to about 2001. And in 2001, I pretty much exhausted myself in my journey, because I did crazy things. You know, I worked as a fire chief in the Native American church ceremony, and that's like going into hell, right? Because if you're going to take care of this fire for 12 hours all night, right? Immense amounts of heat and exhaustion and eating vast amounts of peyote. And what that was, and what that ceremony was teaching me how to stay, because the discipline in this ceremony is so intricate. I used to be in the military, right? That was another lifetime. I had 2 years in the military. And in that lifetime, I had a lot of discipline installed upon me. But it was nothing compared to the discipline of being inside a teepee. And that 12-hour ceremony for the person taking care of the fire was so highly disciplined. And they feed you all the stuff that knocks you into an altered, state of consciousness, and then they expect you to behave like a normal human being, right? And so I learned, that was my training, to remain conscious in an altered state. And when we are in a state of reaction, we're in an altered state. And so as I trained myself to stay conscious when I was angry, and conscious when I was sad, and conscious when I was afraid, it enabled me to perceive the mechanics of what was really going on to me, so that I could start to work with it, develop a vocabulary for it, and communicate it to others who also wish to exit that state of hypnosis. And so by the year 2001, I was exhausted. I was burnt out, literally burnt out, right? And I ended up in Mexico on a beach. Right? And I sat on that beach for about 2 months, like, bah, right? And while I was on that beach doing nothing, just being, right, I saw everything that I'd gone through and how it all fit together. The pathway of awareness, the ceremonies, the breathing, everything that I had gone through, I saw how it was all part of a big picture. And I was told when I was 18, as I shared with you, that I would unravel this picture. This is what she told me I was going to, part of my journey. And so I saw it all on the beach, and I went, oh, now I have to leave the beach, right? Because now I have to go and put it in a book, right? I actually didn't even think about putting it in a book. I went, now I have to share this. I can't just sit with this inside of me, because, I mean, how many other people can see this? And it's like a curse. If you see something like that, you have a responsibility. It's shown because you have a responsibility, right? So I got up and I went back to South Africa. And what I started was, I went and I gave one talk, right? I said to my sister, where can I do a talk? Because I'd been out the country since 1992. And she said, oh, there's this place. So we went there. We actually went to the wrong place and put up a poster at the place that was the wrong place. So, you know, even that was guided. I did a talk, and 90 people showed up to that talk. And I was amazed where all these people come from. Because I was speaking about the art of integration, how to integrate your life experience. You know, talking about the language of numbers and the phonetic language and all of that. Nothing about the presence process. And in that talk, in literally 3 minutes, I said, I'm developing this procedure to extract consciousness from the time-based paradigm. And, you know, it's going to enable us to integrate what happened during our childhood so that we can show up in this moment, you know. And that's all I said, and then I carried on with my talk. And after that talk, 12 people came up to me and said, what's that thing you were talking about, that procedure? I want to do that. So I started off with 12 people. And I never advertised since, right? And I took those 12 people and I put them through the procedure as I knew it to be. And from those 12 people and what happened to them, they told other people, and other people came. And I ended up for 3 years, literally 7 days a week, usually up to 3 people a day. And I would do 3-hour sessions per person, 10 weeks a person. So I would see them once a week for 10 weeks. And do 3 hours work, intense breathing, intense water sessions, and watching what happened. And also myself, still putting myself through this, right? And through out of that, after 3 years, I had the process, which is the middle of the Presence Process book. I had the middle part of the book, the procedure. And I thought, well, I actually can't do this procedure with everybody. It's just impossible. I can see, 15 people in a month. That's not very efficient, because I know there's people out there that would love to have this experience. So then I thought, now I have to put it in a book, right? So then it took me, I don't know, another couple of years, 2 years to put it in a book. To actually write how do I train someone to enter the procedure? I can't just put the procedure in the book. I had to train the reader to facilitate themselves through the procedure. And then once the procedure is in the book, I was going, okay, now I have to bring this to completion. So I have to write a part of the book, and right? So all of that happened. And then once that book got published, once it was accepted for publication, I was asked by the publisher, would I be prepared to come and share this work with people? So that people can get to know about the book. And I said, sure. And so I've been doing that now for 2 years. And in that 2 years, I've consistently and deliberately built up a resource center for this work. Everything that's required for this work is on that website. 90.9% of it is free. There's no charge. The only thing you pay for is these 2 books. And you have to pay for them because they're published, and a publisher requires money. That's how it works. So you have to pay for that. But everything else on the website is free. All the audios, all the articles, everything there is available. And it all supports this work. Now that's done, my purpose is complete. I've accomplished what I set out to do, and I'm heading back to that beach. I really am. On August the 16th, I have a plane ticket. I'm heading back to that exact same beach, and I'm going to sit there and I'm going to have a talk to myself. I'm going to say, no more good ideas. Just shut up now, right? So it's a 7-year cycle. It's taken me 7 years from being on the beach to getting back to the beach, almost to the day. Almost to the day. I got up off that beach in August. I'm getting back on the beach in August. Right? And so this work has a purpose to it. I have to get out the way. If I keep doing presentations, then people who come to these presentations will think there's something else. There must be something else. Right? Then maybe there's something else new. Right? But actually there isn't. I gave it to you all this morning. Everything. It's up to you whether you can receive it or not. But it's all given. It's all given. Once you enliven your state of being, you don't need to go to another talk. You don't need to open another book about figuring things out. Seeking is over. If you're ready for that, it's completely over. Now just get on with living it. And it's the same with me. I'm going to get to a point where I don't want to talk about it anymore. I just want to live it. I want to play music, and if I write, I want to, write entertainment, right? Because I don't want to explain things to God anymore. God is very, for me, what God is very compassionate and graceful, and very humble. God allows you to explain yourself to God and explain God to God for as long as it takes to figure it out. But once you've figured it out, God just goes like, entertain me now. Like, let's have some fun, right? So it's a different level. And also, for myself to get out of the mental, every time I stand up and do a presentation like this requires I re-enter the mental fully, because we're using the mental plane here to communicate this. It's necessary. And I'm very grateful to that part of my experience. And I've done my best to make sure that in the mental plane, the internet, which is the mental plane, in the mental plane, everything is there required. And I also have complete faith that whoever is going to be drawn to this work will find the book and find the internet. They'll find it. It's there. Right? And nothing else is required, but just to be with that emotional signature. That's, to me, the profound thing. And we do this entire presentation. I've done 2 years of talking. I've done all these books. And I haven't only written The Presence Process in the last 7 years. I've written like 6 books. I've written The Alchemy of the Heart, and the others are on the website, and they're free. Right? Nobody wants to publish them. That's too bad, right? But they're on the website, and they're great. They have everything in them, right? But actually, it's all about, can I feel what's going, present moment awareness is, can I be present with this moment as it is? Can I be present with this moment as it is? Or am I going to try and change it again? Can I just allow it to be? Because the moment I enter that resonance with my experience, game over. Then I'm on the magical mystery tour. Getting what I need and want throws me into a world that is known. Everything about it is known. I know what I want. I know how I'm going to try and get it. I know. The being with the moment as it is about entering the long and winding road. It's a long and winding road leads me back to your door. That's the road of the heart, right? In fact, all of this work is already in the Beatles. The Beatles already... they gave it to us, right? When I find myself in times of trouble, let it be. Let it be, right? It's all there already. John Lennon's album that he brought out that has the song Mother, Mother, you had me, but I never had you. All of that entire album is this work. That's the work Yoko Ono made him do. She said, look, you're a superstar. You're like a big deal, but you're just a child. You're just like running around playing with your buddies. It's time to grow up. And she put him through a whole lot of stuff. And people don't like her for it. People won't like you for growing up. It's not about being liked, it's about growing up. And if you look at that album of his, it's got the song Woman. We've spoken about the things that women are going through. It's all on that album, right? He already put it in music. It's just whether we can comprehend what he's saying, but we can only comprehend. It's the same thing with this person Jesus, right? There's the teachings of Jesus and there's the teachings about Jesus, and they're not the same teaching. The teachings about Jesus is when you listen to what someone else says and you read a book and you believe that the word is actually some written piece of grammar on a piece of paper. That's the teachings about Jesus. The teachings of Jesus only commence the moment I enter my own experience as the truth. The moment I embrace my experience as the truth. My experience is the light, my experience is the way. Everything that is happening to me is being given to me deliberately in order to make my way consciously into the vibrational. The moment I accept my experience as the truth, Jesus starts talking to me directly. Because my experience is Jesus talking. It's the same experience, just given to me in my way, in a way that I can digest it. That's the Jesus thing going on. Not some person out there who did things, right? It's the experience unfolding within me. That's the Buddha experience. When I am being without condition, I am Buddha. When I am being without condition, I am the Christ. That's the resonance that I bring to bear upon my experience. Whenever I am being without condition, I am bringing that to bear. And what happens is it brings whatever I'm focusing on to resolution. In the mixing of the water and wine is the demonstration of being without condition, right? They go like, there's no wine. We've got no wine. Oh, well, you know what he says? He said, oh, well, that's what's required. Just serve the water as if it's wine. It'll be delicious. Just be with what is. We just don't get it because we don't understand the being with what is, right? So in my journey, what's important to me? What's really important to me is integrity. Integrity is my number one thing in this work, right? I don't want to bring out anything and add it to this work that's diluted. I don't want to start making stuff up because I need to earn a living. I want to get out before that even starts to creep in, right? And I've watched other people who are given truth and they start to share it and they draw people and then they earn money, which gives them a good standard of living, and then they try and maintain that standard of living, and now they have to make shit up to keep paying the rent. I'm not going there. I'm not going to go. I won't do this to this work. Because I absolutely believe that this work is real. I absolutely believe it. And it doesn't need me. It didn't even come from me. It was given to me as a gift. And my responsibility was to hand it over and to make it available and then to go and pick up. I was learning how to surf before this started. And I still want to figure out how to surf, right? So I'm going back to learn how to surf, right? So at some point there is a jump-off point. It's the same when I did ceremonies with the Native Americans. I did ceremonies for 4 years with them. And on New Year's Eve we did this ceremony at a place called Eden Hot Springs, the deepest hot springs in North America. We had the most profound ceremony that night. I mean, I was just on form that night. Everything was just impeccable. And in the morning, my teacher came to me and he shook my hand and he said, "The best firework I have ever seen. Now go away and don't come back." Go away and don't come back, right? And I got that. Go away and don't come back so that what you've done doesn't get polluted, right? It's very important because even though I speak of my experience like this, many of you will also be asked to say that you're finished. To be able to be finished, right? Can you say I'm finished? And it's important because if I can't finish the emotional aspect of this work for myself, you don't have any hope. And I tell you what, the last 2 years, my exploration has been with another person, deliberately going through the journey of intimacy. And it never went where I thought it was going to go. I thought, her and I are going to be together forever, like this is it. I found the one. No. She was the one I came to set free and she came to set me free. And with every day that passes, we have a less connection with each other, but deeper intimacy. And I'm getting up now and I'm leaving and she's staying, right? Because we've set each other free. Things are finishing. right? And that part of the work, I was saying yesterday, the intimacy part of the work, that's the bottom of the barrel. Really, I'm open now. In my life, I really feel open to pretty much everything. I'm sure there's a few more things there that are going to come up. I'm sure that once I'm sitting on the beach, some things are going to rumble. But I know that I can be with Him now. I'm not concerned about that. I know that I can bring the resonance of being without condition to whatever comes. So I don't have to explain it to myself anymore. I've discovered the key to the door of the kingdom. See, what it is about receiving the keys to the kingdom. The keys to the kingdom. And the keys to the kingdom means, if you are given the keys to the kingdom, it means you really have the faith to move mountains. But you know that the mountains are in the right place. It's very important to not mess with anything, because the kingdom is already at hand. And the problem is, we don't want adults in the kingdom. Adults mess with everything. They want to change stuff around, make it better, make it different, right? But actually, this is the resonance of the kingdom. This child playing, and everything required has been given, that's the kingdom. And that's where we're walking. That door is opening. For many, that door is opening. And it's very important to listen to that. To really listen and go, look, this is finished. This stuff I've been doing here is finished. Can I recognize it? Can I say, okay, can I consciously now dismantle it instead of having it fall around me? Whatever it is in my life, can I consciously dismantle it? Can I say, thank you, goodbye? You've really assisted me along the way, but I'm crossing the bridge to here now. And whatever that takes to cross that bridge. And that's a place many of us are at now. It's not just my experience. It's our experience. Whatever it is. Whatever it is. Any questions?
This is simple. You mentioned as far as with your partner, as far as going into the intimacy, if they're willing, and they're done some of this work in their own way, right? Maybe not the way I've done it or whatever, but awareness of their self and child to an extent. Can you, to have is it manipulation to have these tapes from this, or CDs, from this 2 days, and say, give it to them and say, listen to this, and then just leave it up to them? If they listen, great. If not, and because you said to have one person, it can't be done with one person. I mean,
well, the first thing is, I'm not going to give you the tapes, so you can't give it to them, right?
no.
That's the first thing.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, this recording here is going to be for everybody, but it's going to be a while before it gets to everybody. I'm going to sit in Sayulita, Mexico, and work with it and get it to form.
Oh, okay.
I have 60, 70 hours of recording that I'm going to put into an audio book form, so everything about this work is laid out.
I can't.
Right? So remember, intimacy is intimacy,
Right.
not into you and see. Okay, can you set this person free?
Well,
No, yes.
Right. Now,
The thing is, can you set this person free? Or do you want them to somehow change?
No.
So why would you want to give them the tapes?
because you said, that's my intention.
Well, I also said that it'll be brought to you.
My
it'll
intention
be
was
brought
to
to
just
you.
do my work.
Yes.
And when I do my work, whatever happens, happens.
Yes.
And therefore, I thought I heard you say that you have to have somebody.
No, I never said you have to have. What I say is that if this is given to you, it will be required. And you will know because it will be placed right in front of you. You don't have to even worry about that or try and make that happen. You have to be with where you are in your circumstance right now. Whatever your circumstances are right now, whatever type of relationship, that's what's required. not what you need and want. You may need and want, I can see you need and want intimacy, the journey of intimacy, right? Because we hear about it and we go, I want that. It's
Well,
not about...
I think I have that to an extent. I mean, I
Right.
do feel that, and I feel that where we're at now is we're really have a very, very deep love, but
Yes.
our lives are kind of going like that.
Yes.
And it seems to be okay as long as we stay married. But you know what I mean? I mean, on his part, as long as
Yes.
we stay married, right? I mean, it's nothing about, there's a very, very deep love there.
Yes.
And I can see.
So there's the work. See that? That's the work. Stop all the story. That's the work right there. That feeling. Be with that.
I bet
Yeah, okay.
continue to be.
Yeah, well, continue to be with it. Right? But the reason why it's staying around is because you're still in the story. So let the story go. Let the story go. Where you are now is exactly what's required if you can receive it. If you think you're going to turn it into something else. You see, the thing about the intimacy journey is it's not what you think it is. You know, and I really mean that in a big way. It's not what you think it is. The intimacy journey is really about integration to disintegration and dismantling of that structure. Are you ready to dismantle the structure?
And I accept it. I
Yes.
don't know what's going on.
Right.
I mean, from listening to you now,
Right.
it could be that we're going to that intimacy and I don't even know it.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter. Don't even go into the story. It doesn't matter, right?
Right.
What I'm saying is what matters is what came up there. That's the only thing that matters. Right now, right? To stay with that. And to go to that, put that on your list.
Oh, that's
All right?
I
Okay.
have my list.
Right. Put that on your list.
When you say dismantle the structure, what exactly are you talking about? Like for marriage or?
Whatever it's going to be for any individual. Because get that, see, this is very challenging for us to receive, right? Is that our lives, when we enter this work, are literally a condition, a circumstance that has been built out of fear, anger, and grief. It's a building that we built with bricks of fear, anger, and grief, whether it's my relationship with my husband, with my family, my work situation. My entire life is a manifestation of my emotional signature. Now, when I go in and this is what stops us from the work, right? This is what gets in the way. When I go in and dismantle the emotional signature and integrate it, that structure is going to transform. It's going to dismantle. It doesn't serve its purpose anymore. It looks like things are falling apart, but they're not. They have to, I have to fall apart so I can pull myself back together again, right? So there is a level of the work where there is a dismantling. And that's why I'm saying the intimacy journey with another human being, it's given. It is exactly unfolding for all of us now, because it may be intimacy with yourself, it may be intimacy with your family, it may be intimacy with the people at work. Wherever you are, wherever your group is, whatever your group is around you at the moment, that's your intimacy journey, right? That's your authentic group. That's where you want to do the work. This is the danger of doing presentations that I'm always faced with, is because I show the radiance of the work, someone wants to be there and not where they are. Be where you are. The only way it unfolds organically is to really be where we are. And that's very hard when we're in an uncomfortable circumstance, when we're in a difficult relationship with someone who seems to be like so fast asleep, but that's what's required in that moment. If you can be with what's required, not tell a story about it, not try and do something about it, but really be with it, everything will rearrange accordingly. You won't have to lift a finger. If the person is going to leave, they will say goodbye. Right? If the person is going to stay, they'll stay. It's not for us to say. But the thing about intimacy, the intimacy journey with another is about opening a portal together. And the nature of the portal is We stand on each side of the portal. And it depends on how big you want. Do you want the portal to be as big as the bed you sleep in? There's not a very big portal. It's nice to have a portal that's really big, right? And so depending on the size of the portal is the distance this person may move away from you. Right? It's not about staying together. It's not about having mommy and daddy there. It's about becoming mommy and daddy ourselves. And that's really big for us. And that's why it's a really challenging part of the journey. It doesn't mean that separation is inevitable, but dismantling of things around us is going to happen. It's going to happen on this planet. Things are going to be dismantled. It's the nature of the journey we're in. And the only reason we're afraid of it because of our attachment to form as the causal point of our experience. If I you know, that's what's problematic or a disadvantage about the metaphysical work. You know, the metaphysical paths. The metaphysical paths go, oh, I'm just a spirit. I'm just a spirit having a human experience, right? But don't touch my stuff. Whatever you do, don't touch my stuff. And I'm a spirit having a, you know. We're still so attached to form. We're so identified by it. It's very, and so as we dismantle certain things, the intimacy journey is really about coming together with another human being and saying, okay, you know, we are going to really get that this is not about the form. And you know what? When I really get that, it's going to break my heart. It's going to break my heart because it's going to bring up all the emotional signatures related to the pain and trauma I went through because I attached to form. I have to integrate those emotional signatures. And you can't integrate those by holding someone together. You only integrate them by letting them go. Only when I let love go will it reveal to me what it truly is. I have to set it free. Right? So if you're on an intimacy journey truly with someone, you're saying to that person, I am going to be the first person on this planet to set you free. Even if you go off and choose to be with somebody else, I'm not going to close my heart to you. I'm not. I place no conditions on you. I will never close to you. I'm going to open this portal to you and I'm going to keep it open because every relationship we have, we open to somebody and it ends we close to them. Open to somebody, close to them. Because why do we close? Because we had conditions. And this is about saying, I'm no longer with one person. I'm going to place no conditions. No matter how hurt I feel. No matter how much loss I'm going to feel. Because when I set you free, you really are going to go off. You really are, because you are free. And we may walk together and go off and come back together, but and you have to go. You have to go because part of our journey to explore intimacy is to integrate the points of loss. Because until I integrate my points of loss with somebody, truly, then whenever I encounter anyone who reflects love to me, I'm going to somehow act to manipulate them because I'm afraid of that loss coming up again. I must resolve that loss. So who can I work with that's going to help me come face to face with loss? Who's really going to get real with me? Right? That's not what we need and want, I can promise you that. But it's required in that part of the journey. And that's why I say, only the bravest enter that place. Because nobody wants to feel that. But it's important to die to that now. Really important to have that death now. And it is a death. It's an absolute death. And no one, it's like, you know, for me, cats always used to do that for me. I'm a big cat lover. Because cats are great. You know, the cats, they're very cool, right? Cats are like, watch this, dude. Right into the center where you won't let anybody else in, right? I'm not letting anyone else in, but you can come in, you beautiful cat, you blah, 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 right? Go into the center there, grab hold of that wound, and then the cat dies. Oh! Or goes missing or something, right? and pulls it out of your chest. Right? Because you let them in. You wouldn't let any other human in there. So now can you let a human being in there, like right in there, and let them pull it out, deliberately, consciously? Yeah.
But it seems like you can be in a relationship with somebody where they are pulling things out of you and making you face things over and over again, where they're not consciously trying to do that. It's just...
No, but even in an intimacy journey, you don't consciously do it. It's because of the intent you set. So it's not about controlling things. Okay, today I'm going to pull this out of you. Okay, ready? Here we go. Right? No, it doesn't work like that. What happens is it's all driven by intent. So your intent, if you're with someone who's not on the intimacy journey, you can still intend, okay, I intend that this experience I'm having with this person is about intimacy. And I'm going to do that work regardless of if they're doing the work or not. It doesn't matter. Because it's intermiency, right? It's about seeing deeper into myself. But remember, the presence in you is the presence in them. It knows what you're doing. That person will start to behave in a certain way. It's just that it's that much more powerful when the two of you say together, okay, let's do this. Let's do the intimacy work. And then you're going to walk into the fire, and it's not like you make the fire and warm it up, and this is the right size, now let's walk into it. No, it just comes bam, right? Wow, 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 right? So but the thing is, I'm only sharing with you from my insight. Remember that always. I'm just sharing you some signposts on the journey as it's being shown to me. And this journey still unfolds, right? And so all that's for you is these are signposts on the way for you. But whatever happens, your journey is the one that's valid. However it is showing itself to you, whatever vocabulary you use, that's what's valid. What's true is, what I have found, what's true is, the causal point is the emotional signature. And that by digesting that, I transform my human experience. And that by receiving my vibrational food, I enliven my state of being. And more enter the kingdom. Right? And for me, what I see is that a big portal is being opened here, it's possible to re-enter the kingdom for those who would enter. Those who won't, no, it can stay here. It's pretty cool and groovy most of the time, but it can be a bit rough, right, in the doing world. There's lots of great stuff to buy and things. But there is something else being offered. A different paradigm, a way of being as opposed to something to do, right? And that's for me what this work is an invitation for.
One thing, when you receive the soul food,
yes,
and sometimes you don't understand what's happening in your body.
You don't have to understand, no.
We cannot mistake it with anger, fear, or grief because those three come with a history.
Yeah, they'll come with the story. But it doesn't matter because your approach to your approach is the same.
Okay.
To both. You're being without to digest both requires being with it without condition. Whether it's the emotional signature or the soul food. It's just differentiating. All we don't want to do to the soul food is add a story and then a behavior. We don't want to turn that into something that it's not. Right? Because in the moment, whenever the emotional signature comes up, the moment I start telling the story, I'm spitting it out already. I'm spitting the food out. The moment I enter the behavior, I've pushed the plate away completely. Okay, so the moment we enter the story, we're pushing it out. So whenever I get upset by somebody, the sooner that I can get out of the story into the feeling, the sooner I can begin to digest the emotional signature. With the vibrational food, I don't want to add a story to it. I wake up in the morning, I feel kind of weird, I want to be with that and just digest it and be with it, and it will move on, and I will notice during my day the consequences. There will be consequences. I'll receive what I require, there'll be synchronicity, my state of being is enlivened. I'm actually, the vibrational food and the emotional food are both like sucking on God's nipple, is what I call it. The vibrational food is for the little boy who had the mother's breast and saw that as the source of life force. now grows up and turns towards God's nipple and eats the food from there. And that's the vibrational food. And realize that's where the soul food comes from. If I get that sustenance, I'm not in desperation to find it in the mental and the physical. That level of desperation is gone because I'm actually receiving this nutrition. And actually a whole part of my being starts to relax. Because it's getting, if a child, if it spits out its food, it gets weak very quickly. Weak and confused and dazed. The moment it starts to swallow the food, the moment, within minutes, within hours, that child is strong and getting strong and healthy again. The moment we consciously swallow our soul food, watch how it starts to give us sustenance that we just haven't been consciously taking in. I mean, it will present to you things that I can't tell you about. They're for you to realize, right?
And resistance is part of the process, right?
Well, just if you're in resistance, then feel the resistance and be with it. I want to stop resisting. Right now I'm resisting the resistance, right? But the resistance is a key that you're moving in the right direction. I call it the resistance movement. Right? If you're behind enemy lines and you're out of ammunition and you have no food and you don't know where to go, then you must find the resistance movement. They dress like the enemy, they speak like the enemy, they have the same weapons as the enemy. They're not the enemy. If you follow the resistance movement, they'll take you back home. They'll give you food. They'll give you everything you require. And so whenever we feel resistance, to be with it without condition, to sit at that feeling. It's a clue that we're heading in the right direction. Right?
The list. I have an emotional signature pattern, good little boy. You mentioned a word. Could it be that phrase, good little boy? Or
sure. But you're already there, you're starting a story, you see. That's a story. But that's fine. However you get to pulling it. The list is just because we go through consciousness, unconsciousness, all through these waves of experience every day. We're being, there's waves of experience moving across this planet. And we're going, blah, so what the thing about the list is, because you can just completely forget about your daily bread after 2 days, just like, right? Back into the dwell. Teapot, where's the jar of cookies? Teapot. And the thing about the list is it reminds you, it's like, and then reminds you of the emotional signature, and it grounds you in the body, and it holds you at the causal point. And it allows you to bring the radiance of being without condition just for 15 minutes a day. The thing is, what will happen is, soon you won't do it for 15 minutes a day. Because eventually when you see what the consequences are, you'll automatically be that way. Right. This is it. Like when the Israelites were lost in the desert, what helped them? What rescued them from the desert? Moses? Does anyone remember the story? Manna from heaven, right? What is the manna? Manna. Listen to the word, manna. No. Yes, mood, but what's the manna? Listen to the word, manna.
Man.
No.
We're not getting
No, okay. Look at the manner in which this child behaves, and look at the manner in which this child behaves, right? This is the manner of heaven. This is the manner of the doer of the earth, the worldly people. This is the manner of the kingdom. The manner, being without condition, is the manner of heaven. What happened to the Israelites is they went, I give up. We're lost. You know what? Forget it. We're just lost. We're just going to be here. Another way out of here, right? Because being without condition. It happens to someone who gets cancer too. They get cancer, they cut it out, they take tablets, they drink carrot juice, they put enemas in, they do all this stuff. Eventually the doctor says, you're dying. 3 months, you're going to be dead. Sorry, there is nothing you can do. The person eventually gets it and goes, there's nothing I can do. I just have to be with this. Oh, you've gone through remission. What happened to you? Right? I don't know. I was just kind of being there. Right? Being without condition. That's the manna that leads us out of the wilderness. It's a manner of being. That's the only thing that can help. There is nothing else that will work. Nothing. I'm telling you, for myself, I've shown it to myself. Nothing else works except the manna of heaven. That's the daily bread. It's yum yum.
I had an interesting insight. I think of myself generally as a positive person who deals with some big challenges, like chronic illness. I have a son with high functioning autism, etc. And I've always wondered what this was. But sometimes near the morning time, when I'm half conscious, I hear a voice that just basically downloads all this shit about my life, and it all together. Your life sucks, you have an illness, your son is really, impaired, and you have no money in the bank, and it all comes in, and I'm like, what the hell is that? I always sort of, I don't believe in Satan, but it feels almost like somebody just made me feel, stepped on me, and gave me all the crap at once. As if I wasn't supposed to really appreciate my life the way I think I generally do. Get up every day and just go at it and do it. And I've never really understood what that was, but do you think that is something from the vibrational that's showing me my work? That I have issues regarding these things still?
That's where you're connecting with the emotional signature. So it's wherever we're anchored, we're either anchored in the physical, the mental, the emotional. The intent is we want to be in the world but not of it. In other words, anchor in the vibrational. So many of us are in the mental, and we're mental emotional. We're kind of making that crossing at the moment. So those things can come as all the words and stories that are the spells. It's like a spell, right? That's how you are spelling the emotional signature, right? And so when that happens to you, so when an experience like that happens with me, the thing is, how quickly can you get conscious? In other words, as it's happening, can you sit up in bed and sit on the edge of your bed and go, what am I already feeling now? Where's that in my body? Can I be with that? And watch what happens then. Boom. Story will go, right? And just sit with that and stay with it until, just be with it without condition.
It's kind of horrible.
Well, yes.
It's dark.
It is. But that it has no power. The story makes you believe it has some power, but it has no power. It hasn't any power. It has no power. The power is an illusion. The power is in being. We know that there's no power in doing because we've done everything we can. Look what a mess we made of it. Right?
So not to be afraid of it.
No, and if there is fear, be with the fear. Don't not be afraid. If there's fear, be with the fear. Right? And face the fear and go like, okay, here you are, let me be with you. Because you can't do anything unless I turn and run into the story and now that's become my master. The reality is what's very hard for us to see, but on this planet we worship fear, anger, and grief. They are our gods. They are our gods. We do not worship the God of love. We're not even aware of what the God of love is, right? All our religions are based on fear, anger, and grief. They use fear, anger, and grief to get us to do certain things. Our politicians use fear, anger. Whenever see, the causal point is the outcome. If fear is the causal point, fear is the outcome. Okay? So whenever I act out of fear, the consequence will be fear. If I worship the God of fear, what I receive is more fear. Right? And so on this, you see, the thing is, we already got told the body is the temple. The body is the temple. You know, the person who told us that did not participate in churchianity. Right? Churchianity is one of the biggest deceptions on this planet because it leads you to believe that the altar is out there. The altar is out. No, the altar is in here. The altar is my heart. My heart is the altar within my temple. My prayer is when I be with what's on the altar in the heart without condition. There is no more powerful prayer than that. When I actually bring what God is, being without condition, upon the causal point of the discomfort and lay them together, who do you think is going to overcome? Right? Because illusion will just be vanquished immediately and reality will step in. And resolution. In the same example, the illusion between me and my boss will vanish and reality will set in. And what's real will be there. The only thing that has the power to accomplish that is being without condition. And the only place that that can be accomplished is if we enter the temple and pray there. That's the temple, right? There is no other temple that works. There is no other temple that works. The rest is churchianity, is all it is. Whether doesn't matter what faith it is, it's churchianity. Until we get to this point where we go to the altar that actually alters something, right? We're lost in the wilderness.
Getting in touch with the feeling. I like the mental institution. I think I actually went to university there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I can think myself into the story, and rarely can I get to the emotion underneath.
Right.
Even just having a word like Dad, which,
Okay, let's come. Let's play. Dun, 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 dun. Yep.
I'm getting hot.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me about Dad.
We're entering the story.
Okay, no, but just, so what is it that you want to get in touch with? What's the feeling that you want to get? So if I say Dad, what happens?
Nothing.
Okay. So what's a big issue for you at the moment?
In my life?
Mm-hmm, anything.
Oh, God.
When was the last time you were really upset about anything?
Yesterday.
Okay, what happened?
Memories. Something that happened 2 weeks ago.
Right, so go back, tell me what the memory was.
Betrayal.
Okay. So what's the feeling that comes up when you bring that memory? Remember that feeling of being betrayed. Remember the moment you got betrayed. Remember that feeling? Mm-hmm. Okay, so where do you feel that in your body? Okay, so now just be with that. Just allow it to be there. And you don't even have to close your eyes. You're not using your eyes.
It's too uncomfortable not to.
It's okay, and then close them. But what I'm saying is you can do this while you're driving. You can do it while you're walking. You don't have to...
How do I access?
No, you've accessed it. There it is. You can feel that, right? So go back to that moment of being betrayed. Remember what that was. Remember the feeling? Okay. And where's that feeling? In your body. Okay, so just allow it to be there. Just watch it like you would watch a bird in a tree. No, don't start talking. Stay with it. See, what the mental body will do is what's supposed to happen now. How long is this going to take? Blah, 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 blah. Just stay with it. See, that's what a memory is, right? That's got nothing to do with that moment of betrayal. It surfaced as the moment of betrayal. That's a memory. And that memory is, your parents had that too, and your great-grandparents. They carried that feeling in them. And they had a different way it was imprinted, and a different story about it, and different ways it expressed in their lives. All of that is neither here nor there. The thing is, you can go directly to it and be with it, and just allow it to be there. It knows what to do. You don't have to figure it out. You just have to allow it to be there. Right? So that can be one thing on your list. And you will know once you've reached resolution, because something's going to shift in your life outside once that resolves, however it chooses to. And when you put your attention on that experience, it's going to have no charge. The charge is, you're in the charge now. It's not driving you in any way. And however long it takes to get from this moment to that unfolding is not your business. That's your heart's business. Your heart knows what's required, right? And so that's food. You can digest that. And just being with it like that, allowing it to be there, is what will enable it to digest.
So when I feel this at work,
Be with it.
but you know, what we try to do because we're in a situation
yes,
is-
no, but see what's happening is, you're not, it's fine, it's a good question. You're not going to it, so it's coming to you unconsciously. When you make your list, and you go to those things every day, you start immediately minimizing them having to come to you through unconscious, upsetting, dramatic behaviors. Because you are now getting the message, and you're going to the work directly. The work doesn't have to be shown to you at work or when you're in the shop right? That will minimize because now you're attending to it, because that part of you, that what you're feeling is the child. That's a child who's going like, can anyone help me here? Right? And so the child doesn't know that you're busy at work. It just comes running in the door and goes, help me, I feel sad, right? Whatever it's feeling. So when you turn around and go, you know what, you're sad, I'm going to be with you because you're sad. I'm going to be with you just because you're there. I'm going to be with you. I'm not going to ask you not to be sad. I'm not going to tell you that you only have 5 minutes for sadness. I'm going to be with you every day for some time because be at the cause. We do this work because, to be at the cause. Because being is causal. That's what the word because means. Because is a complete sentence. Right? Being at the cause. And through that experience, and you don't have to have an experience when you're being with the emotional signature. That's not why you're doing it, to have some sort of experience. Don't go into that place. You're being with it because, and there will be consequences. The consequences is what's required for that to come to resolution will be brought to you. It'll unfold internally through the state of being, and that will be reflected as externally as things being brought to you to bring resolution. And you won't do anything or think anything to make them happen. And that will show you your power in the state of being, as through the state of being. Okay? So that's how you get to the feeling. All right?
Okay.
Groovy. Okay, so let's take a little break and we'll come back for finishing.